How are you?
Dude, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Just looking forward to put out some new music. I've been working on that, um, as you know, which is why you're talking to me, I guess. Um, yeah.
For those who don't know, me and you, we met a couple of years ago. At is it the first Radar Festival you played?
It was the second one, I think. Yeah, it was the 2022. Was it 22? Yeah,
Yeah, with Connor Kaminsky
yeah. I was playing guitar
and
for him.
Ian.
Yeah, and the lovely
That
Ian.
was that was the second time you played at
Uh,
Radar.
no, that was the first time. So like, yeah, and then it was the year afterwards. Then I was on bass for Shattered Skies with Ian again.
Yeah, and yeah, it just so happened that when we met after that, because I knew Ian from Southend randomly working
Mm.
in the call centre,
Yeah,
and
weird.
then got talking to you. I think we started talking about music uni, and you
Right.
mentioned that you went to BIM.
Yeah.
After uni, there's a few decisions you can make on like what kind of musician you want to be. I just wondered how you went from getting your degree to like where you are now, really.
Oh, weird. Badly, I think is the word. I think uh, a lot of flailing around. I think. So, for instance, like when I graduated, I spent like 6 months in a basement flat in Brighton, um, like chronically unemployed or had like you know small jobs and stuff. And then I got
Nice to be in Brighton, though. Brighton's pretty
yeah,
fun.
it was fun, It's better. It's not that fun when you're skint. Um, the
That's true.
for the I've been doing some like covers with a friend of mine called Danny, and then she got a phone call from someone to ask if she wanted to do cruise ship work, and then they asked whether she had a band, and then she said, uh, like, I got my friend Tom, so I ended up on a cruise ship for a while, and then after that just fell into the sort of function music scene. So I played Mr. Brightside more than any other tune.
How was the cruise ship? Did it change you as a guitarist? Did you see a bit more of like the industry from that, or
Uh, I'd say
still
less
early?
of the industry because you're on a tin can in the sea. But lots of playing and lots of like varied stuff. So like we were playing for like 5 hours a day, um, which is long. And then just sort of like can you play a convincing funk style and then move on to like a pop ballad to like this, the next thing, and the next thing, and it really like forces you to do lots of things. So yeah, I think it certainly opened the door to a lot of different stylistic things. So like for instance, I
Yeah.
came out of it. I already liked stuff like Motown, but
What were you mainly playing like before you graduated? What were you
like Dream
focusing?
Theater and Steve Vai and like metal stuff. Um, Hence why all
Would
my
it be
guitars are
like
pointy.
Steve Vai? Would it be more the expressive stuff, or did you go quite heavy as well?
Yeah, fairly heavy. Like when I was a teenager, I really liked like Trivium and Lamb of God and stuff like that. Like the 2000s metalcore stuff was particularly good. Like Killswitch Engage, man, so good. Like I started playing when I was 15, um, and so like well, that's really late in comparison to most other people because most people learn when they're like 10 or
Depends. I suppose it depends how. Yeah, I suppose it is late, but I suppose it depends how into it you were.
yeah.
Was there anything in particular got you started at 15?
Well, Guitar Hero 3 actually was the thing. So it's like on the plastic thing, and I was like, wait a minute. Why don't I just learn these on real guitar? If you're spending the amount of time to try and master Guitar Hero, you might as well just learn real guitar. Um,
Has that one got through the fire and flames on
yeah,
it?
it's got that one at the end. That what is it? That thing. That was actually one of the first things I tried to learn, and then you go, oh wait, my picking hands is awful.
But you were aiming high then. That's good. I think that's what I found actually, because a lot of my time was spent playing acoustic guitar and listening to that type of music and trying to work on my right hand, but with fingers individually,
mm,
and really just relying on chord structures on this hand.
yeah,
It wasn't until I started listening to the more modern prog, like I would say you were part of like a modern metal prog
yeah,
movement, right?
Yeah. Well, I quite like the term post shred. You know, like if you have post rock, you know, because it's like it's
Yeah,
after the '80s stuff, and it's like a bit more melody, song.
there's a lot of links through social media as well, because I imagine at uni, if you were, Harry went the year after me, so around the same time, but
Mm.
some of the first YouTube videos I saw was like the double neck guitar.
He gives you the keys, man.
And, yeah, exactly. So I think, there's a lot of connection now with modern metal guitar and that social media influence from then. I remember being in third year and seeing those covers by Dirty Loops.
Yeah,
First time and being like, what?
yeah, all that, like
When you
the
start aiming for these, more technical styles,
yeah,
you have to push yourself, especially
yeah,
if you start trying to write that music.
yeah, for
You're like,
sure.
cool,
I mean,
I
like
want to make this melody, but it's faster than I can play at the moment. So.
yeah, I think the overall thing there was like, at least for me, was that I want to be able to play the Dream Theater songs. Like I want to be able to play the solo, and then so therefore you have to get better. And if you're having to get better, you just sort of, I don't know, it, not to sound like Steve Vai, but none of it has felt like work, because it's just natural. It's like, I'm just going to sit there and practice this thing over and over again, and it's not because I'm forcing myself to do it. It's because I really want to. I actually really want to just be able to nail like the Count of Tuscany intro solo.
It feels good, doesn't it? It feels great once you get it.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, oh yeah. Like, I've always played mainly by ear, so my first like 20 minutes is working out the melody
Yeah.
of the thing, and then the next 4 weeks is actually learning how to play it properly and up to speed.
Yeah, I think there's a part of me that really enjoys the mundane aspect of it as well. Like when you're practicing, like your brain sort of switches off and you're just doing that, and it really, I was gonna say it soothes me.
Finding that flow state, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
being
flow
in the
state.
zone. Athletes talk about being in the zone. Like you can definitely get that with guitar.
Mm.
I've played some gigs before where you just sort of wake up at the end and you're like, what happened? Was it good?
Yeah.
It feels like it was good. Especially when you like lock in with like some other lads.
Yeah,
on
for sure.
stage, like,
It's
it
great.
feels like like I suppose it's something to do with the air as well, and like the resonance once it all locks in.
Yeah.
It actually feels different.
Well, I think that it does. I think part of that is that everyone's on like a razor's edge, like for the most part, or like anything could go wrong at any point, and so there's like a real, I don't know what the word is, but like when everyone sort of acknowledges that, but it's going really well and everything's great. But I think part of the pressure is what makes it so.
Even if the audience can't tell, you give it a little side.
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah,
that was nice.
yeah.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah, but yeah, to go back to how I've got here, if you want.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So yeah, what happened after the?
So cruise ship, and then I worked in a tea shop for a while, and then
Imagine you in a tea shop.
yeah, I really like loose leaf tea, so it's actually quite good. So
As much loose tea as you could drink.
yeah, I've actually still got loads of it because they used to give us free
You
stuff.
get endorsed by them.
Got enough leaves, but so I ended up working sort of part time, and then I was doing function music whilst working on the Lighthouse EP stuff. And then I put the Lighthouse EP stuff out, and then I was posting online on like Instagram and things like that, and got the attention of like Get Good Drums and Neural DSP and people like that, because I was doing like full production things, essentially as a way of just promoting my own music, so like.
Are you still in Brighton at this point?
Yeah, I was, and then I moved away once I'd put the EP out. I think if I can't remember, so long ago. But
that first EP, yeah. So until I listened to your new stuff, Lighthouse was my favourite song of yours. It has been surpassed.
Right.
We'll talk about that later.
Cool, nice.
Yeah, how was that first recording process? What were you what were you aiming for? Were you aiming for something that would be taken on like well on social media, or were you looking to impress peers, or what kind of point were you at there?
I think
If
honestly, this is going to sound really like, you know, the artsy fartsy, but like I just don't at the time I don't think I particularly cared what anyone thought of it, and it was sort of like I'm just going to write this stuff because this is how I want to play. I've got these tunes, and also part of it was like I want to write stuff that I'm excited to play as well. That's mine. Um,
I have that record, isn't it? And so for me, I've always been in a position where I've had to go into a studio, and you're limited to the time
yeah,
and money that you have available in the studio. Actually making something this is what I'm trying to do now, is make something that I'm like genuinely like proud of.
yeah,
Take as much time on it as possible.
yeah.
You know.
I think yeah, like so. I think a lot. I mean, it took me like 2 years to record everything, and because I at the time, I had a
Recorded the first one. Sorry.
yeah, it was all self-recorded. Like yeah, like I'd gone really heavily down the rabbit holes of how to actually record yourself properly and how to use Pro Tools and how to edit and how to comp effectively and stuff. And yeah, I went through all of that, and that took time, and also the writing aspect. And so I basically kept bashing my way through it for a couple of years.
About the same time as it's so much. Sorry, yeah. From talking about uni, I did like a module in recording in my first year. But when I did that, I look now at how easy it is to record yourself, and how easy it is to get some sort of decent piece of music out there for people to listen to, even just as a demo. It's night and day. Like
I think especially in the last sort of
have like decent equipment, or were you like running through like pods and like trying to patch it together with tiny little cables and stuff, whatever you had lying around?
So because I was doing a lot of live work and stuff, I ended up buying a Kemper at the time, and that was sort of I'd been using a Boss floor pedal for a while actually, like the GT8, which I think is what Nita Strauss still uses, or something like that, or she might have upgraded, but I was using that.
I have like an MT50. And this is when I was like 14.
Oh, sure.
And all I was playing was punk rock music, and it was overkill. I used the whammy bar as a volume, and then I had a clean channel and a really badly programmed in distortion.
Nice. Yeah, it is. Like, yeah, mine was probably kind of similar. I was using it when you use those like digital modeling unit things. Everyone puts the gain up way too high and it fizzes out. And they
you can't get the volume on the distortion, so your clean it's like so much louder.
Yeah, exactly. And then like
school, it was proper like school performance, and yet I was playing at the local venue in Southend every Friday, and people came to see us. They obviously had very bad taste.
I'm sure it's not true.
Maybe it was my hair. I had good hair.
Ah, fair enough. Well, that is half of it. I desperately need a haircut at the moment, as you can probably tell.
I've shaved the sides out. I've basically got a mullet.
Oh wow!
I only look half decent because I'm wearing a hat. I just shaved the sides.
I should have put a hat on as well. But yeah, so I was using that and a Kemper, and the sort of like learning through that, and I ended up re-recording stuff a bunch of times, because sort of exploring tone as you go as well is really important. So for instance, if you come from like a metal background, like typically a lot of people will scoop a lot of mids, but then mids are like the most important thing for me, and the high end response. So like really dialing that in, which is why like on any unit or any amp now I'm like, okay, well these are the features that I want out of it to make it respond how I want. And a lot of that was learning that stuff. So what did
you find the mids do with that balance to give it more of a chunk?
Well, I mean, in terms of an overall mix, like if your mids are like just not present there, like really scooped, or you've got a lead with no mids on it, or not enough mids, then it doesn't have that like well-rounded quality that you need to cut
Yeah.
through anything as well. You know,
How do you avoid muddiness in the sound of the guitar then? Because everything you play is so clear and crisp. I would assume, yeah, like too much that mid is gonna like
yeah,
muddy up the actual movement of your fingers and the string noise and things like
yeah,
that.
for sure. I think the yeah, I mean, it's kind of using your ears to find that balance, right? And also the other thing as well is taking things to completion. So like once you've recorded something, take it to the point where it's mixed and mastered, and then you can make judgments. Well, that tone was really good there because like when I mixed it, the rest of the guitar parts were working around it, you know, and it had the room for the mid, or it didn't in the other section. Um, so yeah, that's kind of like the things that you sort of learn by just experimenting all day with it. Um, so yeah, put out.
How many different guitars would you use on one track?
I think the Lighthouse EP stuff is all. It was a Ibanez RG 1527. I think that's the thing. I've actually got it here. Although I've since replaced the pickups with bare knuckles, but this is the 7-string Prestige thing. This is all the leads, so I did all like everything on this. Despite all the music being 6-string, all the leads were done on this because I felt that this sounded a bit better.
Balance, like
Yeah, I don't know. It just had like
bleeding and stuff.
the lead qualities were just a bit more there, but the rest of it was actually this, which is a Ibanez 1570, I think, which is one of my first guitars. It's actually my dad's. He essentially gave it to me when I I was like, oh, I'm playing loads and loads of guitar, and he's like, oh, okay, well, maybe you need a good guitar, and he's like not using it as much, so.
Yeah, I was going to actually ask that. I was going to go back even further and say, oh, was there any like musical influence in the family? Your dad played?
Yeah, my dad does a Pink Floyd tribute band.
Oh, epic, yeah.
Yeah, and they do like theatre
He's
gigs.
probably played at the Cliffs a ton in Southend.
I don't think he have yet, but
Oh, no? What are they called?
they're called All Floyd. Shout out to my dad. There you go. But yeah, so he's sort of always played guitar, and like canon rock and stuff was stuff that he'd learned. So I put that out, and then I was just doing stuff online, so like posting on Instagram and things like that. And then so yeah, got the attention of like Get Good Drums and stuff. I'm very fortunate to be asked to make videos and stuff for them with their drum libraries and things, and that snowballed into stuff with Neural. I ended up going to NAMM in 2020 before the world shut down, and at the time I was supposed to go and record all this music, which I'm now finally putting out, with a guy called James Meslin, or colloquially known as Jimmy T, who is
Okay.
he works with the Dream Theater guys, and Dream Theater being my favorite band is that's bonkers to me, you know. So he was like, oh, you know, what are you doing for your recording and stuff like that? Do you want to do it with me? So I was going to fly out and record, but then the world shut down.
Yeah.
Which
Oh, yeah. So this was end of 2021. 2020.
yeah, it was March 2020, wasn't it? And
So long ago.
yeah, so long. Still not right. But so that all got shelved and cancelled. So I went even more heavily into the home recording route. And during that time, I got asked whether I would do demo stuff for a company called GAK, or GAK, in Brighton. And then so
Yeah, I was going to say you've got quite a like legendary store there. Every time we go to Brighton, I pop into GAK and try out some Charvels and stuff.
yeah, they've got loads and loads of stuff there, and so yeah, really fortunate in that job, again, much like the cruise ship thing, you're trying to cover as much ground as possible. So if they're sending over like 5 or 6 Squires that have just come out, you're not going to play death metal on them. You know, you're not going to play prog metal. You're going to play like something else, like, you know, something John Mayerish or Lawyer Blues or whatever the thing is.
Yeah.
So that was really
Yeah, I
fun.
think you can feel it. guitars, they promote like different ideas in your head based on
Yeah.
their initial sound. But not to say you couldn't play metal guitar on them. I did
No,
say
yeah, I get it.
some of them
But
were, some were gent.
yeah, I think that it's mostly working towards like, what you think the demographic is and what they think the demographic is and what's most appropriate. So that was a really fun job, and that sort of turned into, working with the guys from Fender to do stuff. So like when the Acoustasonics came out, we got like proper video shoot stuff done and adverts for the American Professional 2s, I think. American Ampro 2s, I think they call them.
Yeah, I really like that Midnight Blue Telecaster.
Yeah, they're cool.
American Professional. Yeah, that was the best one. I really wanted that. I felt it was loads lighter than I expected as well.
Yeah, and they've got all the switching
like
options as well, and things like that on them as well, if I remember. But yeah, that sort of ties into what I was saying before. It's like through the demo work and through that stuff, I sort of don't. They're all just guitars, and they all sound different, and that's cool. And I want as many as I can. Yeah. But yeah, so ended up doing that, and then have been privately teaching and doing stuff, making content and things, and then just about to start doing loads and loads of stuff again now. So I think we're roughly up to date with sort of where everything is.
With the, where would people get in contact with you teaching? Is that through
like
a website?
Like Instagram or the website? So like, yeah, it's pretty good. Like generally people are coming.
Have you got a PA yet then? No PA.
No, I don't have a PA. It's just direct to me on my emails. So yeah, like generally people are, they want to improve their technique or think about visualization or something like that, or they want to be pushed in a certain direction. And it's genuinely really fun for me actually, because I'm a big nerd for that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing, or where I've been.
So your dad, plays in
Yeah, Pink Floyd tribute band.
did that when you were young as well?
No, he used to just do like pub gigs, not pub gigs, but like weddings and function stuff. So like a mixture of all sorts of different things.
Like semi-pro as well then.
Yeah, essentially. And then that's sort of why my first guitar was, or the first guitar that I ever properly played was like I still got it somewhere. Is an 80s Ibanez Blazer series, which is like really old and no one remembers them anymore. But they.
But like high quality guitar, you didn't start off on like.
No, but then and then I played that for months, and then I got really into guitar, like really into it, like playing it all the time. And then my dad, I'm very fortunate that my dad was like, oh well, there you go, and it's like a top, prestige Ibanez, So yeah, that's, and then I instantly dropped it down, into, like drop D. And then the Floyd Rose goes like that,
Oh yeah. You do a lot of your own guitar work, yeah. You do a lot of your own, like, setup. Do you do all your electrics as well yourself?
No, I get my dad to do that. He's more handy with a soldering iron, so I just kind of give him the bits. I'm like, make this work, please, which is really useful. But yeah.
You're like, it's amazing how many even amazing guitarists actually pass off that side of like the guitar maintenance to other people.
Yeah. Speaking of stuff like that, I went down to bare knuckle pickups recently, not that recent actually. There was towards the tail end of summer last year. Shows you how long I've been sleeping on this music. We filmed some stuff that's going to come out.
Guys, it was nice to meet them at that last show.
Yeah, they're fantastic. They're great people. But I got to wind my own single coil bobbin. And
did you scatter or did you?
I fumbled, I think is the right word. Like it's so bad. Yeah, I mean you can see it's really like fluffy. Like I've done such a bad. It's not tight at all, and it's.
You might get your own sort of like natural fuzz out of it then.
Yeah, I think natural placement in the bin maybe. But yeah, so I got to do that recently. That was really cool. It's definitely not going in any guitars.
I just thought of the name of like your signature bare knuckles. We called the Thomper. The Thom Pankhurst Thom
quite like that. I quite like that.
It's pretty good. You should get me doing your PR, man.
Yeah, you had some good ideas for music video names.
Do you have any advice for younger players where they should start in if they're interested in modern progressive metal, where they should start technique-wise?
Wow.
Do you advise them to learn loads of chords, learn loads of scales? Where would they start?
To start with, make sure you can read tab for certain. That's probably, an obvious one. And then, because the notation thing, we were talking about that earlier, but the notation thing isn't really that important unless you want to be a professional guitarist. Especially when alternatives like tab exist. Unless you're going to be interacting with other musicians that aren't guitarists, the standard notation thing is sort of pointless unless you want to go down like the flamenco route or some classical stuff. But I mean, like for contemporary guitar stuff, it's probably not that useful, actually.
Would you say for yourself and your progression, obviously you must have been pretty good from the age of 15 until you left school, because did you go on to do college locally?
Yeah, I did A-levels, and then I went straight into degree, so I had like 3 years before I went. But like, yeah, I think that the thing to focus on would be like, actually like pattern recognition stuff is probably really useful. So, can you play something, flawlessly, but if you can't extrapolate any of the things you've learned, like, it's not that useful, because particularly if you're like learning things like dream theater, for instance, which is what I did. It's all like collections of patterns, or like, there's a grouping of 7. This is where the grouping of 5 would start. This is where this starts, and being able to
it'd be repetitions of similar movements, but then slight variance in the notes you're picking as well.
Yeah, and being able to remember all of that stuff as well, not from like, like you can distill all that information into something smaller. So like, I think being able to break things down in terms of like pattern recognition stuff, that's probably the best place to start, because you start to organize things into, this is just this but slightly different, or this is just that, and those are the pathways that really open up, and then you sort of realize that guitar is sort of endless, but there's just things you can extrapolate from, and that's sort of that's some general advice I think I'd say. The other one would be watch your hand positions. So for instance, like there's lots of stuff that you see it online. When people get into doing like faster or more technical playing, they tend to bring their thumb down, which brings their wrist out like that, and they're playing like sort of that, and it's really not great for your tendons and your wrist. And it might look good on camera, maybe, like if it's that sort of thing, but realistically, like keeping a hand position that is conducive to stretching and not fatigue as well, is probably.
Have your behind like the center of, or do you have it further up the top?
Well,
quite big hands, but I've got small hands, so.
Well, my hands are mostly palm though, which is quite annoying. But yeah, so the idea here is like,
play bass instead.
Yeah, maybe. But so just be conscious of how you're approaching the guitar, because sometimes the reason you can't play something is because you're in your own way, and take it, particularly when learning like the really technical stuff. You watch someone and they're playing all this stuff, and the sometimes it's like you wonder how they're picking that accurately or whatever, and realistically it's because they've taken the time to understand that they actually require really small movements rather than like extending through or like dialing stuff in before you move on. So yeah, like some general advice.
Really nasty habit of like I would do something fast and I got to the end of it and it was meant to go into something else fast, but like I'd moved my hand away.
Right.
It's like a showmanship, or like one of these, and I'm like, oh no, I need to be back here.
Yeah.
And then you're like catching up to yourself,
Yeah. So it's kind of stuff like that, but like just general technique things, like you can actually stretch further if you've got your hand like this generally than like this, because you can't get the angle out. and you'll be able to bend
What's
as
your
well.
biggest stretch? How
Uh,
many
I
frets
don't
can
know.
you
Like I said, I got really small hands, but I can go from 5th fret to 12th fret. That's not that bad. Jeez.
on 1 to 7, just about.
Oh, I can't do that. I told you my hands are all palm. I have to play differently. But yeah, like some stuff like that. Just and also probably John Petrucci's Rock Discipline. That DVD was game changing for me. So yeah,
What was that saying? I didn't hear that. It
the
broke up.
Rock Discipline book and DVD by John Petrucci was particularly good. But I was a big Dream Theater fan, so that obviously makes sense.
Have you? Do you do a lot of string skipping and sweep techniques, or do you do any sort of like little cheaty Thom Pankhurst ways to get those sounds out?
Massive cheater. It's
I mean, like some people have their own way of doing so. Like I don't really play with a plectrum, so when I sweep, I just use all my fingers.
like cascading thing, yeah.
I just go like that.
All right. I
Playing acoustic guitar.
yeah. I think honestly, it's just part of the joy that I get out of guitar playing is like to try and find as many different ways of doing something. So, like I can play with my fingers. I can play with my pick. I can economy pick, but I can also alternate pick. I do have a natural proclivity to economy pick things, but I think that's due to being self-taught. It's not a bad thing. I think it's just part of the nuances of how I play. But then I can swap into alternate picking if I need to as well, like properly for like technical difficulties or something like that.
I see you play that.
Yeah.
Very good.
Oh, thanks, mate. There's an excuse to get the fireman out, But yeah, like I think just the amassing of different technique is really important as well. So like you don't have to play everything with alternate picking. You don't have to play everything with economy. You don't have to do anything on guitar. Like if you want to do an authentic recreation of someone else, yeah, that's cool. But if you want to find your own voice on guitar, I think you should have as many strings to your bow, to pardon the pun.
Yeah, I think you saying that in the early days, and I think it was, from what I've seen, even with like the early days of Tim Henson and stuff, it was trying to emulate other guitarists and do those techniques.
Yeah.
But now it's become so much more creative. You can be playing a little bit more simply, but if it's a new kind of tonal space, new kind of timbre, that people haven't heard so much, it just sucks you in.
Yeah.
That's what I thought when I first heard a David Maxim kit. I think some of those riffs were like lovely and melodic, but quite simple. But it was the tones he was getting out of the guitar, and he was playing the same note like 3 different ways, and I was just like, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it is good stuff. He writes the good music. Yeah, I think I think that is a large part of it. I want as many nuances and as many articulations as I possibly can. So like something I've been working on recently has been like expanding fingerpicking shapes with hammer-ons and things like that. I can show you some of that if you'd like.
Yeah, show us a little bit.
So like this might bring us onto the.
Give us some volume.
This might bring us onto the Pluvio stuff. But there's stuff. Let me stop to drive. So this is essentially like I'm good.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about this riff. Yeah, I was like, oh yeah, how are you doing that?
Cool. So it's essentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the right hand. So it goes. But I'm skipping the A string, and then I've got the outline of like I'm essentially thinking of this like a 4, 5, 6 chord progression. But I'm hammering on, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the right hand, and then hammer on with first finger and then little finger. So you end up with.
Yeah. So you're like doing what you would do with thumping on this hand with those hammer-ons.
Yeah, essentially.
That's cool.
But it's like extensions of it. So essentially, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's some.
Diminished. Is it half diminished at the end?
It goes. It's pretty much like pretty diatonic, except I swap the 6 to a 6 major at one point. But yeah, there's a bunch of things in there. So like there's some extrapolations of that as well, where I'm like hammering on even more on 2, 3, 4, 5, to keep those things going. Which is why the track is called Pluvio, which is Latin for rain. So
Oh, nice.
like when it's got like loads of reverb and stuff and delay and things on it, it sounds like rain bouncing off a roof to me. So that's why the track's called that.
I'm a massive proponent of natural and forced harmonics on because I play an acoustic guitar. That's like one of like the biggest like things that will make girls melt if you like do a few nice harmonics.
That's one reason to get into music, right?
Yeah, as an acoustic guitarist, being the only person on stage, which you actually now understand as a solo.
Yeah, but that's not on an acoustic.
The world has changed, isn't it? The world has changed. If there was just one guy up on stage back in the day, it would have just been like Ed Sheeran or something.
Sure.
Now, epic.
Yeah, I guess like. I suppose people have been doing that stuff for a while. I guess the vibe is quite different when it's someone doing like prog metal versus like Ed Sheeran, which is presumably why he's got more money than me.
Yeah, I imagine so.
That's probably why he owns a village.
You never know. You might do a collab with Ed Sheeran, and then you might make some of the money he's got.
That would be pretty cool. That would be. But yeah, like there's some extrapolations of like harmonic stuff that I've been working on as well, which is in Pluvio, which you probably will have noticed. So like there's this like upstroke harmonic thing, where instead of hitting normal harmonics like this or like this, then like if you pinch harmonic, it's generally always with a downstroke, right?
Yeah.
To get that note.
So you could,
and I was thinking, well, why can't I just alternate pick with the harmonics coming out?
Are you still using your thumb to hit the harmonic?
Yeah, it's all from the right hand. So basically, you find the harmonic node over here, and then you pull it upwards, but your thumb has to be in a specific position so you can catch the harmonic on the way up. But you end up with these like yeah, so you can really like start to extend your chord shapes as well. So yeah, it's weird. You kind of have to like angle your thumb, but so you can see my hand like tilts and it comes up. Yeah, and on a plectrum as well. You kind of need that. But yeah, that's kind of some stuff that I've been bumming around with.
A little pinch on the first one. I'll practice.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of weird like approach things that I've taken enormous joy in.
But I can honestly say, like if I was to recommend your music to others, I'd say for fans of Plini, David Maxim, Bolivia, those. But thanks. I can honestly say with these 5 tracks, yeah, it sounds just like you, man. It's a really lovely well, having met you, seen you play Connor's music, seen you play Ian's music in these like festival environments, hearing this and getting to know you, it really it actually quite moved me. I was like, it sounds like you. It feels like you found.
Yeah.
It definitely found your voice, and that really sings through with those little bits. They're really unique. Yeah.
No, thanks, man. I think like those things.
You ass too much. But...
yeah, thanks, man. Closer to the hole, sir.
You're all right, guitar. You're all right, mate.
Oh,
you're all right.
Cheers. That's very kind of you to say, man. But yeah, the like it's trying to find excuses to put stuff like that in without it being shoehorned. I think is the problem solving aspect of this stuff is quite interesting to me. Like, how do you make something work without it's just sounding like an exercise? How do you make a weird technique thing actually sound like something cool and deliberate rather than like, something that potentially could sound like it's played badly because it's unusual?
Let me put this to you. The trick is to play it twice the same. On the third time, change it a bit. And then on the fourth time, change it and then move it into the next riff.
Yeah. Yeah, you've just well, that's the formula of prog. Well done. You've just blown the doors off. Could write an article on that.
Just play the riff twice the same. Third time a little bit different. Oh yeah, sorry, I thought this might happen. We've been pretty lucky, but I'm on the flight path.
Oh sure, I thought you were just going to disappear like a plane just comes in. And...
Your new record, it's all in E standard.
Yeah.
When I listen to it as well, because you're getting some of those heavier low tones out of the top string. I instantly thought it was in C.
Yeah, all E standards. Although I have been messing around with a bunch of weird tunings recently, so that'll be fun. There's...
Like, E can be heavy. We know this from cyanosis.
Especially if you've got a whammy bar as well, you can go like...
Yeah. A lot more expression. Do you use quite like gauge strings now? Or
I use 10 to 46 pretty much all the time. It's just it's one of those things like I actually really genuinely don't care. Like you know how everyone goes like, oh, what string gauge and what sort of action and
that's what I think about setting up guitars. It's like as long as it feels comfortable and you can play it. Like if there's nothing glaring out of the ordinary, then there's nothing really. Yeah, there's no problem with it. You can get by with a regular setup on a guitar.
Yeah, for sure.
You do it absolutely perfectly, it's going to stay more in tune, but it's not going to affect too much the actual feel.
Yeah. Like I think, well, actually, this ties into some of the stuff, so maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. But I think doing like loads of demo work and having access to quite a lot of guitars. Like I've got quite a lot of guitars at the moment. I think I've got like 20 something guitars, but they all do different things, but they all play differently.
You gave me a little tour before you were like getting the
potentially
moving the stuff around. And there was a few boxes and ones out on the side.
So but like I've got a Strat that I love, and that plays completely differently to this, and then I've got the SMP Telecaster thing, and then I've got Ibanez's, and then like a baritone telly and an acoustic, and they just like and a 24.75 inch guitar scale length as well, and they all play differently, and like you can put the same strings on them but they feel different. And I kind of came to the realization that I actually just don't care about any, like I must have my 2mm action. I'm like, I don't care what action it is, like because I played a Strat with like monstrously high action for quite a long time.
Yeah, I suppose it's horses for courses, isn't it? If you want to play like some big ring out chords, it's better to have a little bit more space under the strings so that you can ring out those open strings at the bottom of the chord. And if you want to play really fast, it's easier to have a bit closer. Like simple, really.
Yeah, for sure. There's kind of like the Yngwie quote.
People get bogged down in those things too much.
I think so. Like there's like just to talk about the Yngwie thing. He talks about his scalloped frets and like so you can grab the note by the balls. And I think there's something similar with a high action.
With the new record, is there anything in particular apart from the techniques that you wanted to sort of shoehorn in? Is there any sort of overarching inspiration for the actual soundscape itself?
Kind of. The most of it's just like see what comes naturally. Like see what when you write, like what is the most obvious thing. Sorry, camera's just stopped. There you go. Like trying to follow ear and make a cohesive thing. Like one of the things that was really important to me with this was that everything sort of sounds like it's from the same place. That's not always really important in music, but for this, I think it is because I want it to be one cohesive EP.
I'm just on that. Once you get to the end of those 5 tracks, in that final one, I did expect that main melody from Pluvio to sort of turn up a little again at the end, but you don't do it expressly, I don't think.
Yeah, there's a bunch of...
There's little like hints to it, and I thought that was really tasteful.
Yeah, there's little things. Maybe it's laziness on my part. Maybe it's like, I need a bit for this. I'll just bung that in. But like, that's genuinely not. So
I love callbacks. I love callbacks in music.
The melody for the last track is basically the Pluvio melody, but turned like it's like twisted and warped. So like there's the that sort of thing. But it's like that sort of sound, and like it goes to different
Yeah,
points,
so
but
you flatten.
the rhythm's sort of the same. I actually really need to
Yeah,
relearn
it's got
that.
a little bit more spice. It's a bit heavier. Is that called? Is it Borealis?
Oh, that's the fourth track. But yeah, the final track
Oh,
is
sorry.
Guardian, where it's the one that's like. Say that again, sorry.
Too jazzy.
Too jazzy?
Yeah. Yeah, too jazzy.
But there's like things that repeat themselves. So like the tapping, that's in like the Guardian thing, but it's also part of the second track as well. But just like in different formats. I think there's some real fun in like taking something so prog man, but like taking something that's already developed somewhere else, and going, well, there's more mileage out of this, there's more things you can do with this, and it just needs twisting a little bit, and it makes something that hopefully is like more cohesive and coherent as an overall piece.
Yeah, modulation on a theme.
Yeah, I think so. So it's like, yeah, how much can you squeeze out of the idea, but also like it's really fun to just take something and then completely twist it, because there it's just good fun. You're like, oh, actually that should be its own track, and then you just take it and run with it in a different format, which is good fun.
How do you approach the melody lines? Do you write like in shapes? And do you sort of consider playing it live when you're writing?
Yeah, generally.
Or how tricky it's going to be to perform?
I'm not someone who tracks note by note, although like there are bits where potentially if you're against the wall time wise, then you might have to go and do that. But in general, everything is like I'll sit and have the section for a while, and I'll loop it until I find something I like. And sometimes that's from like maybe there is some theory in there. So like I know that the chord I'm playing over the top of is like a sort of that sort of sound. I'm going to use Dorian over the top of that. But to be honest with you, a lot of it is sitting down and just playing. So a lot of it is basically sitting and seeing what comes out. But then some of it is genuinely without guitar as well. So something that I find really useful is to just put guitar down, turn the volume down, and then listen to the track, and then close your eyes and go, well, what would I want to hear over the top of this? So it's like entirely ear based for the most part. And I'm not thinking it. I'm going to be really honest about the way they visualize guitar and stuff, but I know the cage system stuff, and I know the 3 note per string stuff, and intervallic distances and things like that. And honestly, I don't think most of the time it's just I just want to do. And obviously I've practiced that stuff to quite a high degree. But yeah, so like there's like I know the cage system stuff and the 3 note per string system stuff, and intervallic distances and the theory, the chord scale stuff. Most of the time my brain's switched off.
That, so you don't have to worry about it, don't you?
Yeah, I don't think about it. Like it's natural. Like I know that if I want to get that like 6 sound over an A, then I'm going to play that. And that's just the sound I need to do because I've done it and repeated it quite a lot. And sort of built relationships in my head of how things relate as well. But yeah, like the main focus is just ear, and like I love a melody and all these things. So
You picked a bloody good one.
wait, it's basically
When you play live, I'm going to be singing that loudly.
nice. I would appreciate that. We'll give you a microphone. But it's essentially that major add 9 sound. So
If I let it on my Martin, my acoustic, so I played it acoustic.
yeah, we can start it off together. But there are extrapolations here. So like for instance, when we were talking about the pattern stuff from earlier, this is essentially the pattern from that Police song, whatever. What's it called? Message in a Bottle, right? It's essentially that. Yeah. My voice doesn't go that high.
In proper questionable
Yeah.
voice, though.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of like the idea with some of it, and coming up with it is very much like the most important thing is, do I like it, or is it like just being put in because I think it should be put in, or
Yeah.
which
You can find that sometimes when, like, a prog music or Jen goes into something where it's like, oh, okay, now we're in metal carnival or like spooky metal carnival.
Yeah,
It just
yeah.
feels like shoehorned in just so they can play that scale, you know?
right, yeah, we've gone here now. Okay, cool. Like, can you bring it back? Can you play? Like, I think that is a large, like we talked about the problem solving thing, and like I do view a lot of like the songwriting aspect or some of this stuff, and one of the things I really enjoy is the problem solving aspect of it. So like I've got this melody and I've got this chord progression and they don't necessarily fit over the top of each other, but I want them to. And like, how do I change that or change the other part sufficiently to make the two sound like one cohesive thing? Or like, you've got that now and you've got another section and you know that it's basically the same song but they don't go together. How do you make them link up? Like, how do you get from one area to the other?
Travel that distance.
Yeah, exactly. And so,
cohesively.
sometimes it's absolute failure, and that's fine. But at least you gave it a go, because sometimes out of that you get the things which are really, really good.
Yeah, you'll find some spicy stuff. And I think I watched Adam Neely
Mm.
on YouTube, and he says, what is it? Repetition breeds legitimacy. So
Yeah.
regardless of what you play, like if you just play it over and over again, eventually it sounds like that's the way it's meant to go.
I'll go one step further and say that repetition and eye contact. So like, if you play like just
You can sell anything.
straight down the camera, like, yeah, I meant to hit that, and then do it again. You know, it's like,
Raise your eyebrows, the string bends.
yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the approach generally. It's just to try and make the sound happen the way that you want it to. And then a lot of the reason that things take me a while, particularly with this stuff, is that I want to be absolutely sure that it is what I want rather than just what I think I should put out. And you know, that can involve changing the parts.
When you're in under like proper pressured studio conditions, you can feel sort of time constraints and pressured into just like, you know, putting something out.
Yeah.
I think that you weren't very happy with.
Exactly. So like,
Do you find the fact that you've got the ability to record at home as well has helped prepare into
yeah, for sure.
studio time and stuff? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's why my home recording setup is what it is at the moment. Because it's, you know, I go down to a studio and you pay however much to go to a studio to go and track acoustic guitar, but I'm so pernickety about how it's played and like the take I want and everything like that, that, you know, you're there all the day and you've only managed to smash out like half a track or one track, and then when you get it home you're like, it sounds good but it's not quite how I want it. So like, that's why I spent the money on, you know, microphones and things like that, just so that I can have the freedom to sit and do the same thing over and over again for 12 hours if I need to, and then by the end of it you can play it really well.
And now, see, with your neural, you can set all of that up through the neural, and
yeah,
like you did in that first show, you can come and play live, and everything's there for you.
Yeah. Like I've got
take the hassle out, I suppose.
Yeah, like when I was recording the all of the parts and things, I got the quad cortex I got from Neural, and I started capturing. I mean, I made meticulous notes on where every knob is set anyway, because I'm kind of like that. Like I've got a notebook thing, and it's like,
yeah, I've taken to like taking photos of things with my phone now.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah.
Like, yeah, this is like in between this scratch on this pedal and this scratch on like, you know, like the other bit. But yeah, I started capturing them on the quad cortex now, and so I've got captures of my Dovers, which I use for everything. There is one, like, it's how good the quad cortex is, I think, but like there is one solo on the EP which isn't a real amp, and it is the quad cortex, and I think you'd be really hard pressed to tell which one it is. Like, none of them would stand out to you.
I was going to say, man, that acoustic tone, if I can, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
but in the video, that initial riff, you are playing on an electric guitar.
Yeah.
Is the recording an actual acoustic?
Yeah, so
When you play it live, will you be using like an acoustic sim on the?
no, I'll just keep the acoustic in the background on a track, I think. Um, yeah, like there's loads of like doubling up of things as well. So like the other thing that I'm really interested in is like layering the sound. So like particularly, if you've got one guitar and it's doing like for instance Lighthouse or something like that. It's actually like a Strat and an acoustic together. And the beginning of like Take My Hand on the new EP is it's actually 6 or is it 8 guitars per side, so it gives that like ice cream truck vibe. Yeah, so there's like an acoustic where it's played down here. Well, and then that's doubled up with
frequency boxes must look like this.
Yeah, but it's there's an acoustic playing it down here, there's an electric playing it down here, and then there's an electric playing it up here and an acoustic playing it up here. Sorry, 8 in total.
Like a more sort of like slappy electric sort of clean sound.
Yeah, it's like quite thin actually. Like it doesn't fit in the space because the acoustic is filling up. Or I think in that case the acoustic is like mostly taking the high end and the electric is taking the lower end a little bit, and then some more low end into the acoustic bit below that. But yeah, sort of layering of that stuff. And the initial one actually had this weird like the demo for it had this pitch shifting thing which made it sound like an ice cream truck going past, which sort of decided not to have, I think.
A bit creepy.
Yeah, it was sort of like a tape having some issues, but yeah, loads of layering. Yeah, kind of like sort of that vibe, but yeah, it's not on there anymore, which I think is a good thing. But yeah, so that's kind of like the idea of like layering things. And yeah,
and you've done a really good job. It sounds crisp. Who did you record with this time?
Well, the recording, all of the guitar recording stuff and acoustic and all of that stuff is me. So I.
Sorry.
Hmm.
Who played drums?
So the drummer is my friend Yanir. He was the same guy on Lighthouse and Grow and the live stuff that I did a while ago. He's bonkers good, man. I used to live with him when I was.
Yanir?
Yeah, Yanir. He's French. Well, technically not really French, I think. Yeah. That's a shout out to you. But he's a fantastic musician, and so yeah, he did drums, and I've done literally everything else except for the cello, which was played by someone called Maddie Cutter, who is also fantastic. But yeah, so I went down the self-record.
Other Brighton musicians, people that
I think
you know from uni and stuff.
No, I know her through someone though that I went to university with. But she's done like massive like what do you call them, like the orchestral rock gig things, so like Alter Bridge live at Royal Albert Hall, she's in that stuff like that. And I just have her doing my stupid parts in a studio remotely. But yeah, like the self-recording thing, like I've got very thankful to have been hooked up with amps and things and stuff like that. So like the Dover amps are basically everything on the EP. So I went like self-recorded everything. I've edited and self-produced some of that stuff, and then I sent it over to Jimmy, who then mixed and sorted it out, and then the mastering has been done by Mayor Applebaum, who is, I think that's how you say his name, but he's like Faith No More mastering engineer and stuff like that, which is cool. So yeah, there's a lot of effort gone into it, and some good personnel on it, I think.
And are we allowed to say that you're putting out a video for one of the songs?
Oh yeah. So the track
When can we expect?
At the end of May. So I've got a bunch of stuff I want to put out.
The 20th of May. Put it out for my birthday.
I think it'll be the week after. I think that's what at least the plan is, because I've got time to sort everything out. But yeah, we filmed the video. You've obviously seen it.
I've had the pleasure of seeing it.
It's pretty really stupid, fun. Right? So like one of the things that this is not a criticism of anything that anyone else is doing, but I'm really bored of seeing playthrough videos that aren't interesting. You know, if someone sat in a white room, or you know, and you know, I'm guilty of that too. I've done that, and I've
Yeah, but back in the day, like when it was 2000 metal bands, it was being in like a warehouse. Or
yeah, yeah,
with a girl, with an emo girl like walking around,
yeah.
like looking worried.
And there'd be some narrative about not being understood in society or something, right? That's sort of weaved in.
Now you're just in some like really like rich person's house that's been cleared out for the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like a house viewing or something.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Wearing clothes from Final Fantasy or something.
But yeah, yeah. So it's like I'm
definitely not wearing any Final Fantasy clothes, that's for sure.
no. But you know, I've been guilty of it before, and you know, like, I just throw my hands up. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but like I had an opportunity, or I had the vision that I wanted to do something different for it, because I wanted to. I've sat on this music for so long now, and I just want it to be done as well as possible, you know, and you know, if I've spent this long and spent this much effort on it, I might as well put the effort into a proper music video. So very fortunate in that this got made for me out of a bunch of parts and things that couldn't go out to customers from SMP. So for instance,
bigger for me. Show me bigger.
oh,
Bring it to my eyes.
well, I've got it recorded here as well, and you also you can see it on
I
the.
want to see it right now.
I got it on the video as well, but it's essentially like this body is the old body shape that he had before he changed it. The neck's got chips in it and has been rejected or stuff. And so I was like, is there any chance you could make me a prop guitar? And it can be made out of balsa wood or something like that. It doesn't matter. Like the pickups, these pickups are fake. They're just the covers. Big shout out to Bare Knuckle for giving me some metal. And this is actually the trem from Stu from SMP's Strat that he just like took out and has bunged in. But yeah, like so.
There's quite a lot of water in the video.
Yeah. Well, the track's called Pluvio, and I get very wet in it. But you know, it's not very good for guitars really, because it's now I think where the wood got wet. I don't know if you can see it. There's now a large crack down the back, and the fret. The neck's quite like.
Bring it to me. I'll sort that one out so it's playable again.
Well, I am tempted to ask whether we can turn it into an actual guitar, and then maybe swap the trem out.
It's a project for you for free.
It's still got watermarks on it where I haven't cleaned it, but yeah, I think it'd be really cool. Like I would actually genuinely, because it's genuine. The neck is actually really nice. It's really great to play. So like it would be cool to have it turned into something that I could use. And then just people be like, "Oh, it's knackered," and I'm like, "Yeah, it wasn't ever designed to be turned into something."
A me tangent, but did you see that bass I stripped back from? It was been sprayed completely blue.
Right.
They were using it as a prop for their like music studio.
Cool.
And I stripped everything back on it and started from scratch. So yeah,
Wicked.
if you want me to do it as a project for you, as a little thank you.
Oh,
I'll do
that could be quite cool.
Get some pickups and internal wire and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's stuff you can just get from Bare Knuckle, and they just come as a pack thing, right? But yeah, I think the trem would have to be different, because I really like Goto trems and not this. It just they feel right,
really
you know.
Nice on there.
Yeah, it'd be really cool to like take it and then be like, oh yeah, this is actually the guitar I used for the thing, and it works and it's great. But it didn't work just after I used it.
Yeah,
like,
you could like bring it out at the end of the gig as like a walk on.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's the video, and part of the idea with that was to try and do something that's a bit different.
Who did you do the video with, sorry?
That's with a guy called Mark Batch, and his friend Curtis, Mark used to work at GAC doing the videos, so the demo stuff that I was doing, that was with him. And that's where I know him from, and he was the guy who initially asked me to do the demo stuff as well. So it's really cool that this sort of like, I seem to have some sort of like cinematic universe around me. This is like the same personnel, you know.
It does make me a little bit jealous. I was going to say, I miss that feeling. It's what I'm trying to create with the events, is that feeling of like just being surrounded by creative people again.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, when you're like forced together for like 3 years with this group, and everybody is everybody's writing together and everybody's making stuff up. Like you've like continued that on post. It's great.
Yeah.
Allowing yourself, being involved in that Connor Kaminsky live performance and then Shattered Skies as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm very
Yeah.
I'm very fortunate to know a lot of people, and yeah, I think
It's a testament to your character as well. I would recommend if anybody sees Tom play live, go and talk to him. He would definitely take a beer off you, but don't let him have more than like 3 or 4.
Yeah, well, the first interview we did at Radar Festival didn't go out, right?
Yeah, no, it's. I think I do still have it. I might clip it. But yeah, we can't put the whole thing out.
My favourite thing is
unintelligible.
Yeah,
unintelligible.
It was it's when you asked me to hum or describe what Tosin Abasi would be like playing "Sweet Child of Mine." I think that was the moment it went.
Yeah, I was gonna do this whole thing where I was gonna like have the guitarist names on like little papers and sticks, and I was just gonna put all their faces. I was just gonna put them up, and like you'd have to quickly decide who was better at guitar.
Wow.
And we were just a bit inebriated, and it just ended up who's better, Tosin Abasi or Slash.
Right. Yeah, that was it, wasn't it?
And I think you said Slash.
I don't think I did.
I think you said Slash because he had more of an impact on you as a youth.
Oh, well, it depends on the context. This is probably why this didn't go out.
This is why it doesn't go out, because
I tell you,
we lacked context, the ability to form context in our brains.
Well, I think they both scratch different itches, right? They're different musicians, and I like both of them equally. There we go. Very politician, yeah.
Diplomatic, yeah.
Yeah.
What about Aaron from Intervals? What do you think about Aaron from Intervals?
He's great.
New stuff.
That's great. I've been listening to it in the car. It's been good.
Yeah, he's very melodic, man. I've always just appreciated. The fact is, it was similar to yours. I like it when it sounds a bit like a sunny, because I'm from obviously Southend, seaside town. There's like a sunny summer's day down the seafront, and like you're skateboarding down the seafront.
Yeah, his music does sound like that, doesn't it?
With instrumental music, because your mind's not taken up by what the vocalist is saying or the sounds that he's making. Like with me, I've got a vivid imagination. I daydream all the time. And these kind of things will, conjure up different images in my mind.
Yeah.
So when I listen to Necrophagist, I'm thinking like Lord of the Rings, there's some, some darkness there. There's orcs marching.
Yeah.
Or some sort of horrific, like, murder crime documentary or something like that. When I listen to your stuff, Intervals, Pliny, I'm more like, sunny Saturday, 17, I'm skateboarding down the seafront, I've got beers in my bag, and I'm going to meet my mates and sit on the beach.
Nice. I'm glad you associate me with the good times, Although, like, when I've been working on stuff in the future and it's quite 7-string based, so that you might change your opinion.
Are you getting all? You're gonna get all tossed in on us?
No.
It's all gonna be like percussive and.
I don't think so. I think it's.
No.
You have to wait. It's some of it's. I've been messing around with fuzz quite a lot. But like ways in which to use a fuzz that doesn't sound like Jack White. Nothing against Jack White, but it's just not the sound. Yeah, like
fuzzy boys.
But like, I don't want it to sound like fuzzed out. I want the fuzz to be an integral part of the sound, as in addition.
Queen's Stone Age?
Yeah, but that's you'll see. But yeah,
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's some.
I'm trying to get a scoop. I'm just putting stuff out there, trying to get a scoop.
Well, I think I'm gonna have a video coming out with Neural soon, but like blending fuzzes essentially is the idea. So you know how like most fuzzes are, you have the amount of fuzz, but you don't have the amount of fuzz in your signal chain. That necessarily. So if you're in a high gain scenario, the fuzz tends to take over, or it is your tone. And the idea that I want or have been doing is this blending in fuzz alongside as a mix. So like the fuzz can be completely fuzzed out, but then that's added in at like 10% of the original guitar signal that goes into a 5150 or something like that. So you end up with this like spiky edge around it that's not the entire tone.
Yeah, similar tones that maybe you get out of some kind of synth. If you were playing live, you
kind of
separate synth guitar-y sound.
Yeah, kind of.
Like Dream Theater, when he goes.
Yeah.
When he's doing like guitar solo,
Yeah.
It's like fuzzy and tight though,
Oh yeah, that sort of thing. Kind of. It's more like you can. I've specifically been doing it with an octave, but the octave fuzz thing is on a parallel thing to the original tone. So your original tone cuts through normally, but it has like an octave fuzz sound in it. That's not the entire thing.
Like the original tone was that like?
Yeah, so the original tone is like just like metal sounding, right? Or like like a heavy tone, like it's quite a lot of gain. It's like maybe 5150 or something like that. That's the standard for like metal tone, right? And just like there's the elements of it, like there's characteristics of it which come in from the fuzz side and the octave thing. So it's not the majority of it. It's just a really small amount, and it really does change like how stuff is sort of done. So I've been diving into stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's been really fun.
All like shaking with the sound, I guess.
Yeah, so that's been quite fun. These are the fun things you can do if you're bored, sat at home, and you're like, how do I make this happen?
We're gonna do a bit of guitar.
Yes, let's do some guitar. It's my favourite thing.
What kind of tone do you recommend I start with? Something a little bit cleaner.
Yeah, I mean, like for a lot of the leads and stuff on it, it's very much like a light drive sound. So like like there's quite a low amount of gain on it, just to make it cut through.
Beats, like you said.
Yeah, so like I'm playing it sort of like as a that add 9 shape, and then it's all sort of within the shape. Like there's like a hybrid picking thing, and then it moves up to the next.
So where are we? Because for the beginners who want to learn it, where are we?
So it's essentially all in D, I guess. So like, but it's very much, I'm thinking of it in not so much from D, but more as like G Lydian for quite a bit of it, sort of that thing. And even then, not really thinking about that so much as just the intervals or like the notes. But conceptually, there's a bunch of shapes actually which tie in to the track, So, like for instance, we've got this like add 9 shape with the top 2 open strings. So like if you were to play like a major chord, you just take the bar off so that you've got the open strings, and then push your little finger out. Yeah, and then you can move it up. Turn it into a minor. You can do all that. So that's essentially the idea there, and that's what I'm essentially outlining. And then there's these harmonic things. So these things. So it's like 5 7 5 on the E string, and then 7 7 7. Yeah. And I'm like hybrid picking a lot of it.
Okay, using the last 3.
Yeah. And then that's sort of carried over into the other bit of the intro, which is this sort of thing. Which again is like outlining. So there's all those like, it's like that G Lydian thing because it's got that. that sort of thing. And then there's a bunch of weird things that go on. But yeah, that's essentially kind of conceptually what's going on.
Oh yeah, and what's that? So the actual main melody, your like theme melody.
Yeah, so you'd have this thing. Bad Ben, my bad. And that, it kind of pops up later on as well. So it's like the same shape, just an octave up, and then just as a way of getting the melody out.
I love it. Show me something hard that I should practice from the Thom Bank.
Well, I guess the hammer-on thing is quite cool. Like so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's quite fun. So the idea is I'm playing. It's essentially like a G major chord, but again I've got so it'll be first finger on 3rd fret. It'll be little finger on 5th fret on the D string, and then 3rd finger is going to go on the 4th fret on the G string. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then and you finish it off with like retapping this and retapping that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm skipping the A string as well.
Just progressively with this hand.
Yeah. But I'm skipping the A string is the thing there. And it's basically the same pattern the whole way through. So. And then this is a minor version. So as you would play a normal minor chord like this. Yeah, like your major chord, it moves down to a minor, so I'm outlining that. And then it moves down to the same thing, minor shape, 2nd fret. So the 3rd fret, major shape, 7th fret, minor shape, 5th fret, major shape, 2nd fret, minor shape. So that's a fun one.
Any major sweep shapes in there? Oh yeah.
Not really. There's the upstroke harmonic stuff. Like that's the only element of sweep picking really.
You're raking over it.
Yeah, it's like a harmonic rake essentially.
It would be.
Yeah, but the challenge with this stuff is to the challenge with this stuff is to make it in key and musical. So like instead of it just being like that thing before you hit a breakdown or whatever, the idea is to actually hit the harmonic note properly over the top, so you're getting the right notes in the harmonics. Because otherwise it depends when you play it, right?
Yeah, so you can determine that through your hand position.
Yeah, so depending on. Yeah, weird, right?
I could do it like this, and then this finger is my plectrum. Then.
Well, you can see that my thumb goes like this, right? Like when I do it, it's like it like pushes down, so that the angle of. No, you can see that my thumb essentially does this when it's time to grab it. It means that you always get like the harmonic thing out of it because I'm grabbing it with that part of my thumb here. But yeah, that's kind of the idea of that. There's not really any sweepy stuff in it, really.
Yeah, no, you've not gone into like full like.
Yeah, it's one of those things I didn't feel it was necessary. Like it.
It comes across really tasteful, and there's a lot of blues influence in there.
Kind of, yeah.
There's some jazzier chords.
Yeah, like it's basically just just play whatever you want and make it work, I think is the idea. But this one's got a bunch of like hybrid picking stuff in it. So there's like a section when it hits like what I consider to be the chorus, which, when it goes to the higher gain section. But it drops down to this stuff where, but yeah, it drops into this thing which is doubled by a dulcimer. You know, that ding 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 thing. So there's like all of these shapes which are.
When I do like recordings now, I like to put in like a xylophone or just something like tuned percussion, just to like really pick out and give that percussive nature to the.
Yeah, it's really cool, right?
Rip.
Yeah, just like it really, it's kind of like, to me, it's like a Frank Zappaism. Like, you know, where he doubled loads of things with like a marimba or something, you know.
Yeah, and if you do it live and two people are playing exactly the same thing, it's always impressive.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea, is like to double that stuff up. So like that part will be. Oh, sorry. There's like twisty all over the shop. There's another thing that pops up as well, which is like that pops up at a few different points.
It's tasty.
It's a bit of a pain, like to get that.
I know people love seeing the big slides.
Yeah, that sort of stuff. But yeah, like the idea is like it's trying to get as much mileage out of these concepts. So like this tapping thing comes back a few times. It's like played at the beginning. In the thing, and then that will come in later on.
Does that go over? Does that go over 2 bars? To like go back in. Are you changing chord underneath that tapping section?
I don't think so. But like the end, it's mainly just like conceptually, I'm taking the same tapping pattern and reusing it later on. So the end tapping line, if I go onto a lead pad, like you've got it. That sort of thing. That's essentially set up in the verse, you know, which just makes that a bit like more cohesive as a thing. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in there that's really outrageously weird. There's I quite like the rhythm parts as well, like behind it. This is very like to me it's like very like teenage singer-songwritery, where they play all these like, or like, you know, like the you know, it's always a C add 9, like in that shape.
Yeah, a lot of it. So it's picking when to like build tension and release.
Yeah.
Did you do songwriting at uni as well?
No, I didn't. Just learnt a lot of songs.
Mainly guitar technique.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't consider myself like a songwriter, you know, but like it's more like
No. I think it can be classed as a song, man. I think in this music, especially these days, because it's not just you know, it is melody driven, it is catchy AF, it's, you know, got the right amount of repetitions, it's, you know, it is good songwriting, and all the lead guitar is doing is taking over from the
yeah, vocal, I guess. But
you know, what's even talking about like a girlfriend that broke up with you, you know what I mean? At least it doesn't have that level of cringe.
well, actually, if you want the secret meaning of the song, no, joking. But yeah, there's all these like rhythm parts.
Was it about crying in the shower?
Yeah. That's what the rain is. Yeah.
You can see my drops.
Yeah, but they're like the one of the things I'm really like happy with. It's like the end progression thing, because there's like secret bars of 5 in there, but it doesn't feel like it like trips over itself.
Well, yeah, there's some modular.
Yeah, like time signature change stuff. So like, for instance, you've got this like. There you go. It's been a while since I played that. But yeah, like you kind of get that thing where it like feels like it's tripping over itself, but not really.
Yeah. Once you get the groove locked in for that, like everything can feel sort of danceable and
Yeah.
4/4, 3/4, but you could be playing in an odd meter.
Yeah,
It's just
and
about, it's that groove, isn't it, underneath? And you've really found that in that one. I did think that. And I thought there were some bits where it went 4/4 to something else.
yeah.
Now I know.
Like the melody line is the thing that really like ties it together like cohesively, because you can just follow that and the rest of it dances around it, you know.
Sorry, just going back to what you said about that last bit. Do you plan the chords out for those sections rhythmically first, or is it the melody that's leading it still?
I think that it was the chord part first and then the melody over the top, but I think it was a case of like I should use that melody later and it's already in your brain, you know.
Yeah, maybe I would always be tempted to be like, especially if it was in like 5 or 7, to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4,
Oh, I don't
5,
do that at all.
and then record over and then go back and make it interesting.
Oh, I don't do that at all. I go the opposite way, and it's all of the weird time signature things are just like things that I feel rather than like trying to track it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like it must be 5 here. It's more just like, oh, I've added a note. Like I've added an extra bit because that's what I want to hear. What is that?
That's the joy of this style as well.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, and like it's like approached very much from like, oh, what did I do there? How do I make that what it is? You know, rather than like, you know, trying to go, I'm going to use 5 and I'm going to hammer on here. It's more just like, oh, I've done a thing. Let's work that out, you know. That's a way that I quite like to work.
You know, having the understanding it makes those bits easier, doesn't it? It makes it easier to get there. You can still get there without the knowledge and just, you know, listening to things, but
yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's just a case of...
You get there a bit quicker, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I'm just, like, sitting and playing it in with a 4/4 click for stuff like that. And then afterwards I go, it's a bar of 5, you know, and then sort of change the time signature afterwards, you know. And then retracking it with the new thing is kind of, like, the way forward for that. Or that's at least my approach, you know. I think that the main takeaway from this is I don't think about anything, right?
Well, yeah, and I think that's probably the best thing. You can engage your muso brain too much, and people can tell. You know, it's like it comes across too poncy, doesn't it? I guess. Yeah,
maybe, or like I don't know. I like
back in the day, like even like Django Reinhardt. You know, you can tell he's feeling it, even though he knows where his fingers have got to go.
Yeah,
you can. He's feeling it and trying to, you know, make people move, I guess.
Yeah.
Even for like early jazz, it's well strict, you know.
Yeah, it's about like serving, not. Again, this is only my perspective, but like the thing that I'm trying to do is just like write the things that come naturally and explore the things which are slightly unnatural in a natural way, so it doesn't feel overly forced or anything like that. So that's kind of the thing. I'm trying to think if there's any other parts that like are standing out to me in the track. I mean, there's all the harmonic things. So like, that stuff.
Oh yeah, I with those ones. I thought maybe you know, in the Pluvio video with Steve Vai, where he was doing some like bends that bend down on 2 different notes.
Yeah.
What's that thing?
Oh, he calls it what do you call it? He called it joint shifting or something, right?
Yeah, something like that. I thought that you were going somewhere like that, but it's all forced harmonics, is it?
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of things that are doubled with the harmonic stuff as well. So like there's like, and then over the top you got.
I love the bend on the other one. Do you do that on the left hand?
Yeah, you like hit it and then you can bend it. There's another fun one is like to like tap a note and then bend it with the left hand. That was quite good fun. Yeah. Or you can apply vibrato to the.
Brilliant job. Sorry.
You can like apply vibrato to your tap note, like, but just using natural vibrato on the left hand. It's quite good fun.
Very good. So yeah, when can we expect to hear? You say late May?
Yeah, I think it'll be the last week of May, and then.
Are you doing the video on the same day as
Yeah,
well?
yeah. So like that'll be the single with the video, and then the rest of the EP the month after with some other things, which would be really cool.
And where can people see you?
Online. So like
You're not playing anyone's like random wedding.
no, no, that'd be good.
Can I shout out to Gene and Dave?
Yeah, yeah.
The wedding next week.
Happy release day. The yeah, so you can find me like Thom Pankhurst on anything. Just remember that my first name is spelt with an H because I'm edgy. Um,
Yeah, Tom.
yeah,
We'll get speaking to Bare Knuckle about the bumper as well.
yeah,
You can put that in that. If they make you a thumper, you can put it in the blue guitar.
yeah. That would be cool. I'm thinking I want to put not pink pickups, white pickups in it, like completely white, but not like the EMG white, like coated metal white. I think it'd be really cool. Yeah.
See. And can people book you for gigs? Are you gigging? Are you available for gigs?
I am, yeah. It's very much, yeah. Just I'd say get in touch, or if you are watching this in the future and I have a booking agent, get in touch with them. But all the information will be on the website and everything like that.
Any music recommendations for anyone to listen to?
This is going to sound really left field, but the most listened to genre that I had for 2023 was drum and bass, which I don't think anyone would really. They go, oh, he's like a instrumental prog guy, but I'm listening to like Pendulum and like. But what's some really good music I've listened to? I can go on my phone if you want.
It's a good place to get breakdowns from drum and bass for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Noisier.
Like yeah, I mean like the guy who does the Pendulum stuff is obviously into metal because he'd worked with In Flames on one of the tracks. But like there's some of the sensibilities about the way he writes are like really like metal.
Yeah, for sure.
What have I been listening to? I quite like the Jacob Collier album. Jesse Volume 4 has been good.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's nice.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been listening to a guy called Metric, Metrik, who does some really cool drum and bass stuff. It's got an album called Ex Machina or Machina, I think.
Oh yeah.
That's really cool.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh man,
Probably
that's
watch
great.
that.
Watch that.
I've also actually been really, really enjoying Grinding Gears Volume 4 from Rabir Masad. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And some Frank Zappa, actually. It's the second time I've brought up Frank Zappa, but been sort of going through like my favourite.
It's a good interview if you bring up Zappa twice.
Yeah. But the Overnight Sensations, a really good album, and the One Size Fits All album is also one of my favourites. So mostly been going through that. I'm trying to just see if there's anything else I've been.
Yeah, do you do any of that like complete legato runs from one end to the other? Do any of that?
Yeah.
I saw someone doing it the other day where they did it in a kind of suite where they were
Like that sort of stuff where they're going like
yeah, that kind of thing.
all the way up, sort of thing. Yeah, I do some of that. That wasn't the cleanest, but yeah.
No, it was banging, man. I loved it.
Stupid. But yeah,
And,
so that's,
wicked. I really appreciate your time. We've covered a lot.
Yeah.
And you can see you playing the new record in its entirety. You play all 5?
I would probably do 4 of them.
Do the whole thing.
No, but the fourth track's really difficult because it's
Yeah.
but it's loads of different parts and like weird harmonies.
This time, so you have to work it out.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll see you. You're going to be at least one of the headliners for our next event, which is July the 13th, Saturday, Southend-on-Sea, at the Ironworks, which is a community venue. We're going to ticket the evening event, so
Cool.
keep an eye out for the link to get tickets to see Tom and whoever our other headliners are. Have yet to announce. That seemed pretty exciting.
That'd be
Just
great.
remember, Tim Clark Guitarist. I'm going to work on a name for you, for people. It's can't be Tim Clark Guitarist.
Guitarers.
That's awful. The Clarkies, I don't know. Something.
TCers.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Excelsior, true believers.
Yeah.
We use that one for now.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Just remember, it's Radar the week after. Radar
Yes.
Festival week after. So
It will be.
is that a hint? Maybe that's a hint.
Oh, I'm not. I don't think I. No one's asked this year, so yeah. But I think I'm gonna go.
Oh yeah, you're not playing this year. Are you not playing with anyone this year?
No.
I'm surprised you're not playing with someone.
It's a lonely year. That's okay. That's fine.
Why don't you contact him and get a solo set?
I think maybe that'll be the aim for next year. Be cool.
I want to see it. Tom, thanks so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Very welcome.
I'm sure all the guitarists watching are going to love the bits that you showed them and play them much better than I can.
Or I can as well, because I've forgotten half of them.
Let's hope so. Jeez.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to relearn them all. It's such a pain.
A bit cruise ship to me. A bit cruise
Yeah. Or just
Is that what they say? Is that what they say? With a singer, they say, it's a bit of a pub singer.
Oh yeah.
With a guitar, so they say, he's a bit of a cruise ship.
Very
guitarist.
cruise ship guitar, that.
Slur.
Just cruising around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Cool.
All right then.
All right, brilliant. I'll see you soon.
See you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.